Today I'm going to be showing you how I create my own watercolor paper blocks. I use the B 100% cotton paper a lot. That comes in 90 pound and 140 pound, 6x9. But it comes to you packaged like this with loose sheets, and in there is a backer board that's loose just to help, keep the pack rigid. So I'm going to actually take that, and I marked on the back of it that this is the 90 pound 200 GSM. And I'm going to do the same for the 140. And again, I'm going to use the backer board that was in there to attach my block to. This is a press that Lou made me, and it's literally just two pieces of wood that are sanded extra smooth so it won't damage my paper. And there are bolts that go through with the little turn nuts. So I'll be taking these off, positioning my block in between. I'm going to tape off one spot so that I'll have a part that doesn't get the adhesive on it so that I can get in there to remove my sheet when I'm done painting. Then once those are set and they're in my press, I will work on the two edges at one time. And then when that dries, I'll release it, turn it around, and do the opposite two edges. And then I can work on creating two blocks at the exact same time. And you want them pressed down so that everything stays firm. And then as that dries, it'll keep your paper nice and flat when you're painting on it. So I'm going to get started. I'm using the pad and book compound. This is what I use to seal the edges. I've done this for patrons before, where I created pads of paper for them, and I just had to seal it on one edge. You can take, like they show here, just like two strips of wood with C-clamps to hold the edge together. You could do it that way. You don't have to have a press like this. You could do it that way as well, where you just do it one edge at a time, work your way around, and then you have, the block made. But this is what I use. It is archival quality, so it doesn't matter if it comes into contact with the paper if I'm trying to create something that is going to be archival and last. So I am going to go ahead and get this apart, get these set up, and we'll be right back. Okay, so as I was getting this started to get set up, I realized that the two stacks of paper I was doing were not going to be the same height. I've used more of the 90 pound than I have the 140 pound. So my 140 pound block would have been bigger. So I have to do them one at a time, which is really not a big deal. I just set this up and then go about my business, and I set it aside so it can dry, and then just come back to it whenever I think of it and do the next side. It really doesn't take long at all. Just screw these down. And I would definitely say that if you did this and had like C-clamps, that you would just want two large solid pieces of wood that fully covered your papers, because you're going to want to clamp those down tight so it presses down on all of the paper. So right now I'm working on the 90 pound 200 GSM. It's not 50 sheets. There's not 50 sheets left. That's how much came in the package. And I fully intended to do it when I got it in, but I got so busy just getting to work that I didn't actually do that. Okay, let's stick that in the top. So I'm going to take some of my pad and book compound, and I'm just going to pour a little bit out here on the palette. I don't need a whole lot. Trying not to make a mess. Trying. And I just have a little paintbrush that you can pick up at the dollar store. I definitely am not going to use a precious brush on this. I will wash it out as soon as I'm done with it so that, it doesn't harden in the brush. But let me just turn this so you can see. Here's the edge of my block, and I literally just take this adhesive and we paint it on there. doesn't need to be too thick. I didn't tape off the spot for releasing it yet. I'll do that on the opposite side. As long as I remember to do it on one side, then I'll be good. If some of this gets on my wood here, I'm not too concerned with that. It'll just kind of rub off once it's dry. You just paint down along that edge. And I have way more on my palette over here than I'm going to need for this one side. I could probably do the entire pad with what I poured out there. So I'll probably be trying to maneuver some of that back into the bottle. I didn't get any water on my brush or anything. I just picked up that adhesive and painted down the edge. And there you have it. It is that easy. Now I'll just clean up the edge of my wood there. I can do the same on this other side. There we go. And we let that dry. I will come back and show you how, once I have all the sides done, I'll come back and show you exactly how the block works. But here's one I had mentioned. I had made a pad before, and I had sent these to my patrons, and it's sealed on this edge, and it was samples of the sand grain paper so that they could try it. And just like that, created my own pad. So you can do that as well. You could create pads, you could create blocks, anything you choose, and you can make them in any size you want. So if you get larger sheets and you like to cut them down because you like to work in a specific size, you can do that and create your own. So we will be back in, it's going to be just seconds for you, but it'll be once this is all done and we will finish. I'll show you the whole thing and how it works. Let's undo my first block. I've done all the sides on this now. I'm just going to pull it out from between the wood here of my bookend block press that Lou made me. So here's what it looks like. So remember, we did our first long side, and then I went ahead and I flipped it around and I put a piece of tape on here. And this was so that I wouldn't put any glue in one section. And then I did both ends. I actually did both ends at the same time. So I painted the adhesive on this side, and then I did I painted it on this side. I slid it back into the press with just the edge showing, and then I painted it on this side so that all of my edges were complete. And you can see here, ooh, there we go. I got a little bit right here that got onto my top sheet. I'm not going to worry about that. I will just make sure that the first one on my block, I tape off a border to work in, and then I'll still have a nice clean edge when I remove this, and it won't matter. And then if I mat the piece, again, you're never going to see it. So let me just take this tape off. If I can do that without getting any of my nail polish marking up the white of the paper. There we go. This has been on here it's been a hot minute since we started this process. I have just been so busy. I'm going to actually heat this up because I want that to just come away without tearing that paper. So one moment. Okay, I just ran my heat tool over that for a moment just to get that adhesive to start loosening up so that when I peel it, it comes off nice and clean. You see, it peeled some of the cardboard on the back, but not too concerned. So there, now, if you see here, right, we have our spaces there. It's just in the middle. We're able to, I have one right here. We're able to take something like this, and I'm not going to take this one fully off, but see, it'll slide right in between the pages, and then just like a regular block, I can go around it and it will release my top sheet. So this one was the B watercolor paper that I like to work with. This is the 100% cotton. What I did was I took the sticker off the plastic. So these come as loose sheets. And you get the package that's 6x9. It comes with like 50 sheets in it. 50 sheets. It will come with a piece of backer board right in the center. It's perfect for making blocks. I just carefully peeled the sticker off the plastic, put it on the back of one of these cardboard, like chipboard, backer board, whatever you want to call it. And I write down what the paper is. Of course, it's redundant because it was here, but I didn't have the sticker on when I first started, and I wanted to keep them separate because I have some of the 140 pound, which I showed you, and I'm getting ready to do that one next. So they were going to be two different sizes because I had used quite a bit of this. But as far as my 140 pound goes, I have a lot more of it. So I couldn't do them at the same time. Now, if I bought 2 packs and they were the same thickness, then I could certainly do both blocks at the same time, working on opposite edges and getting all those sides done. You just have to make sure that your press can press, the same. You don't want one up and one down, and then you've got like this, and it's not going to press to get a good solid edge. And you want that to be nice and tight. You want to press this as snugly as you can because that's what's going to keep your paper anchored and help prevent all the buckling and warping. So there we go. I am going to quickly, not quickly for me, but quickly for you, make the block out of the 140 pound, and then stay tuned because there is one that I'm going to show you at the end that makes this entire process completely worth it. I'm going to show you a paper that I make a block out of, and just the savings alone, it's going to blow your mind. So stay with me. All the sides on my 140 pound, 100% cotton B watercolor paper are completely dry now. So I'm just going to open these up so I can remove my block. There we go. Put my press out of the way. And now I have my block, which I put the tape on. I can remove my tape. And now I have a little spot where I will be able to go in and separate my pages after I've painted on this. And let me just show you what I mean. I have my other block of my 90 pound. And again, I just took and placed the stickers on the back of them, or what they were. They came with a piece of like chipboard, whatever, in the packages. So I just used that to be my backer. But here I have one that I did during a studio hangout. It's a painting I did during a studio hangout with patrons. We get together on Zoom and paint together. Sometimes we work on the same project. Sometimes we just work on whatever we are working on in our studios at the time. But we hang out while we do it. If that's something that might interest you, there is a link in the description below, and you can check out my Patreon. And depending on the tiers you choose, we do that either quarterly or monthly. So just remove and just pass that around. And there you go. Your painting is removed from your block and it remains nice and flat. I used a lot of water when I created this one. I will have a video of this on the channel soon if it's not out already. And so you can check out how I painted this. But yeah, your paper stays nice and flat that way. It doesn't buckle. This is only 90-pound watercolor paper. I threw quite a bit of water at that, but since I let it dry on my block completely before I removed it, I don't have any buckling and my paper stays nice and smooth. As promised, you can save a ton of money if, let's just take the plastic off this so we're not glaring. This is a pad of arch or arches, however you want to say it. And this is a 9x12. I can do this size in my press, no problem. To get the 9x12 pad versus the 9x12 block, the block will cost you twice as much. Now, yes, it does have a few more sheets of paper, but it doesn't have twice the amount of paper for twice the money. So if you get one of the arches pads like I have here, it's already going to be sealed on the one edge. You can tape off a spot just like I did, and then you can put it in the press and seal these other 3 sides. And now, for a bit less money, you can have a block of arches paper and save a few dollars in the process. Because if you were to do 2 of these pads, you would have more sheets than 1 block if you purchase the block, and the block would be twice as much money. So there's just a little tip. One other way that I promised, if you stayed until near the end, I would share with you a great money saving tip that you can do if you create your own blocks. So I would definitely recommend. I am going to be creating this one next. This is going to be the next one to go in my press because I will be using this soon here on the channel. And I've even thought of cutting this down to work with the 9x6 sheets of it, because I've been doing a lot of work on the 9x6 with the B. And yeah, I think I'm going to cut these down and save, I'll use the same back here, but cut them down, and I'm going to make a block of 24 sheets because it'll be double. So a block of 24 sheets of arch in my press. And yeah, we're going to be trying that here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. So again, that's the Pad and Book Compound by Line Co. I will link that below. And I used my press that Lou made me. We may have some of these available. If that's something that you would be interested in, let me know, because Lou has talked about possibly making some for sale. And yeah, if that's having one of those type of presses so that you can make your own like this is something that you would like, drop me a comment below. Otherwise, you can always do this, certainly, just by using your Pad and Book Compound to apply the adhesive along your edges and really weigh down your block while it's drying. And there you go. Just don't forget to put your tape over one side so that you'll be able to remove your stuff in the future. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. YouTube definitely rewards us for interaction with the audience, and that will help get my channel in front of more viewers, and I appreciate that. And if you are enjoying the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. Until next time, my friends, keep creating, and I will see you in a video real soon.